my daddy hates robots.
Hello everyone, this is Cybertronian Beast, and let's talk Transformers. Today we're taking a look at Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. This is a Voyager-sized figure, and he has been very highly anticipated. Ever since the cinematic trailer for Fall of Cybertron, the video game, came out, and the animation model for Grimlock ended that trailer with him pounding his sword into the ground and then turning into the, this quote-unquote space T-Rex mode. Everybody, was clamoring at the idea that, oh my god, we're going to get a Grimlock again, finally. And we did. We finally did. And he looks great in the box. And notice how I said in the box, because robot mode for Grimlock is, there doesn't seem to be a problem with that. But before we get into all of that, let's take a look at the packaging, because the packaging is what you see first. So they advertise glowing eyes and mouth. That's pretty cool. So nice picture here of Grimlock in his T-Rex mode. You see Grimlock there through the window. On the back, the shot that every package has, alt mode, robot mode. He's got a chomping jaw. Again, glowing eyes and mouth. Tyrannosaurus Rex mode. And the Autobot symbol on the side and back to the front. On the bottom, we're looking at the eject and ram horn and rewind and sunder. Well, they're not out yet, but they're coming soon. I've heard good things about both ram horn and sunder. Ram horn seems to be the one that everyone wants, though. And that seems to be it about the packaging. So let's stop talking about this thing and let's start looking at it. Let's get it open. Right, so here is Grimlock out of the box and looking beefy. He has two weapons, well, one real weapon and one shield. He's got his big, massive sword, which we all know from the game that he uses quite well. It's a very powerful sword in the game. And he's got his shield, which is also a game weapon or game only thing, which he kind of just pops up and can bash away on foes. So anyway, looking at the robot mode, there doesn't seem to be a lot of missteps in this thing, just from looking at it. Although I don't seem to like the arm piece here. It doesn't seem to want to peg into anything, so that's an issue for me. When you're playing around with it, this just kind of opens up and flip-flops around, and you can't really seem to do anything with it. Turning it around on the back, you do get the Tyrannosaurus head to fill in the back of the robot, and other than that, it is a ginormous gap, like just hollow, empty. There's nothing there. Now I'm going to take the opportunity, I'm going to get rid of these weapons just because they're going to get in the way here, but I'm going to take the opportunity to show you something that messed me up for a little bit with the arms. Now you'll see on the front the arms stay quite close to the body, but by messing around with them, I actually got them to go quite far away from the body. And obviously you don't want that, but by doing so, like that, see? By doing so, I kind of messed it up, and I was fiddle-farting around with it for a bit, and for some reason I couldn't get it back, and obviously I did figure it out. But for people who are new to Transformers, you know, they may actually just get frustrated and they might break a one of the hinges in here, because it's just plastic on plastic. It's not metal or anything like that. There's only one bar hinge in there. You can see it right there, and everything else is just a plastic little swivel. So if you're not gentle with it, you'll break it, and you'll break his arm off. But basically, just to fix it, you just gotta swing this whole thing around, get everything back on top, and you can get his arm back to the right spot. But it is a little bit funny just to get it all in there. Yeah, see, I'm still having the problem here. So it's still far out. It's just, I need to get it all on the bottom. There we go. Got it. Good. There we are. So it's back to normal now. So you notice that it's also quite higher. And that's the only issue that I found with the arm, is that if you don't transform it right the first time, you can get into a bit of a circle where you won't get it for a while. And also with the dinosaur head, he fills in the back here quite nicely, and these arms, these Tyrannosaurus arms, don't really peg into anything, so I just tend to leave them jammed up against the backs of the arms, because the arms themselves don't peg into anything either, like the robot arms. So by jamming these up against it, it gives it a little bit extra support. Not much, but a little bit. So yeah, so there's quite a lot of non-pegging going on Grimlock here, and I wish there was a little bit more stability, but all in all, it's a decent little figure. His legs didn't do it for me either, but I mean, they look good. Granted, they look great from the outside, but you swing him around, he's got a joint here on the that will go forward. I believe that's a transformation joint for the dinosaur mode, but he does have a knee joint, which is quite stiff. But the only joint that's inside here is actually right in the leg. Hopefully we can get a shot of it there. There it is. It's right there. You can see it. It's a little tab, and that tabs right into the tail piece, and that's the only piece of solid, you know, tabbing that actually goes on in the leg transformation. Everything else is just friction. And now I can't even get that. It's not a great transformation for the leg. I don't particularly like it at all. So there we go. Got it. All right. So yeah. But once it's in there, it does hold pretty well, and it's just not as sturdy as I would have liked it to be. So yeah, all in all, I mean, as far as aesthetics go, Grimlock looks fantastic, but there are some issues with his transformation. What I'd like to do before we get into the actual transformation is I'd like to bring in the other two Grimlocks that I own. I don't own a Classics Grimlock or an animated Grimlock, but I do have G1 Grimlock, which is considerably shorter, and I do have Masterpiece Grimlock, which is considerably taller. So I'm going to back these guys up because Masterpiece Grimlock isn't even in the shot yet. So let's get these guys all in the shot. Oh no! Yeah, G1 Grimlock doesn't like to stand very well. So yeah, there they are. My Grimlocks. You can see that there's a considerable difference between the height of all three of these Grimlocks. and it's quite nice to have the varied sizes for Grimlock, because G1 Grimlock can fit in with, you know, your G1s really, because he's not really any particular size. I mean, if you really wanted to throw him in with Deluxes, he'd even be small with Deluxes, but your Fall of Cybertron Grimlock is really your Deluxe or your Classics Grimlock. I mean, I don't have Classic or Animated Grimlock. Animated Grimlock is fun. I've seen him a couple times. I'd really like to get him. But Masterpiece Grimlock, he is the best one, bar none. So we'll get them out of there, and we will move on to the transformation of Grimlock, Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, into his Space T-Rex mode, and we'll see how well that comes out. I will mention first, before we go on to that, the gimmick for Grimlock is a light up gimmick by pushing down on this button here, and it lights up the mouth of him in robot mode. But if by pushing this button in T-Rex mode, if by pushing this button in robot mode, you light up his chest area. Come on, light up. There we go. So it's a little hard to see with all the lights that I have here, but you get some lighting within his rib cage here. You get some lighting in the symbol here, and this is the coalition of the whatever the hell it's called, whatever the Dinobots name their team. And then obviously the rest of the lighting lights up here. He does have light piping. I will show that off here. So, I mean, the figure's got pretty much everything that you would want to have in a figure. Articulation-wise, he's no ankle tilts, but he does have a little bit of a toe bend here due to transformation. Like I mentioned before, he does have a knee bend. He does have a thigh swivel and a double joint in his hip. No waist swivel. Shoulders will go 360. And he does have a bunch of joints in his shoulder, so you can get a bunch of movement out of there. Due to the heavy size of his shoulder, you are not going to get a really bunch of movement going side to side. He does have a bicep swivel that will go 360, and his fist will also spin 360, which is nice. And there is an elbow joint as well that will go about 90 degrees. And then his head will go up and down very slightly, and will spin 360. Alright, I've teased it enough, I might as well do it. Let's go into the transformation of Grimlock to T-Rex mode. First thing I do is I get rid of the robot head with the dinosaur head. So I just flip this whole section up and I snap it in like that. And now you've got your T-Rex head here. These dinosaur arms, I mean, they don't really do anything, so you can just kind of move them out of the way for now. The Grimlock's arms, they just kind of peg in. There's this peg right up on top here, and it pegs in right up into here, this section. So we'll just kind of move it in and peg it in right there. And that's about it there. Same on the other side. And you just kind of push it in there. Make sure that it pegs in. Perfect. Okay. While we're dealing with the legs, we can get rid of his fists. And we just open this area here, flip it down, flip it in. And it doesn't really go much further than that. I mean, you can try and spin it a bit to get it to go further. And maybe you can get it to go in a little bit, but really you're going to be left with something that looks like that. Bit of a bird's foot. Same on the other side, and twist. And there you go. Got your bird's foot. Whoops. Okay. and the tail. The tail can be fun. So yeah, we want to disengage the tail, like the little tip of the tail, from the feet. So just snap it out of its little joint there. And we just want to move the entire section up. Now there, you see it on the bottom of the crotch section here, there's this little gap right in here. This section of the foot, as well as the other side, slides right into there. And that's what you want it to be. So there's that first one. Now we do the other side. Okay. And we can now look at on the other side to make sure that everything's going in there. Looks good to me. Peg it all together down at the bottom of the tail. And looks good. Now we get to adjust the feet. If not, he's face down, ass up. So let's adjust the feet here. So we do that. A little bit too much on one side. Perfect. Now we can fix the dinosaur arms. Perfect. And I think we're pretty much done with Grimlock. Yeah. So, as you can see from his stance there, he is a little, a little side to side. He's not kind of, he doesn't stand straight up and down. His legs are out to the side a bit. His robot arms, like I mentioned when we were transforming them, they're completely useless. But they're the part of the figure, so you want to have them there for sure. The mouth does move up and down. He's got his jaw chomping action. So don't get your finger caught in there if you can help it. The tail has been the subject of much criticism, as it is very large, and as you can see from that shot there, it is very thick. Obviously it's made up of the legs, and it just kind of, it's thick and thin. So maybe it could have been helped, but you know what, whatever. The part that really gets me is the underside. There is the biggest gap ever in the bottom, and I'm kind of getting sick of all the corners that are being cut by first-party figures, and it's probably the main reason why I've started pursuing third-party figures more than first-party figures. Now, don't get me wrong, some of these first-party figures are really starting to look good, like that new Shockwave, amazing. But the corners that are being cut here, the gappiness, the lightness of this figure, like this figure weighs nothing, and that's just unfortunate. Like a Grimlock figure is a big figure. It should feel big. It should be imposing. Which, I mean, I guess it's still imposing, but it should. I don't know. It should warrant a little bit more respect than it's getting. As far as the gimmick goes, you push down on the button, and the mouth opens. The head lights up. The Autobot symbol is on the top of his head. That lights up very nicely. His mouth opens up, and you get a LED on the inside, so you can see what's going on in there, and his eyes light up. So as far as the comparison goes, we've got that Grimlock there. Let's bring in G1 Grimlock. There he is, nice and small. Not too small, actually, comparatively. and Masterpiece Grimlock, who absolutely towers over everybody. Let's back them up again. And there they are. And that is your comparison. So yeah, G1 Grimlock and Fall of Cybertron Grimlock really aren't that different in size. I mean, Fall of Cybertron Grimlock is longer, but as far as their height goes, they really aren't that different. But when it comes to like full-on size, the Masterpiece Grimlock just annihilates both of them. Like, that's crazy. So my verdict: get Masterpiece Grimlock. He's the best. No, I'm kidding. I mean, he is really the best Grimlock you can get. But as far as Fall of Cybertron Grimlock goes, he's decent. I mean, he'll be kept in robot mode for me. Like, he's not really a display piece for dinosaur mode. He's very beefy in his robot mode, but as far as his T-Rex mode goes, it's not really doing it for me. As for his weapons, they can peg in 2 different spots in his dinosaur mode on his legs. You can put his sword on his leg there, or up on his shoulder again. And again, his shield can also peg into the same 2 spots. I don't know why you'd put it further down though. It doesn't really work down there. See, step on it. Anyway, that's Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. I don't think I'd really recommend them unless you're a Grimlock collector. Then obviously go get them. And if you do get them, I'd recommend displaying him in robot mode. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section of the video here. If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do so. I post a lot of pictures of my figures there. I chat about all kinds of Transformer stuff on there. Just search for Cybertron Beast on Twitter. That's not Cybertronian, it's Cybertron. Cybertronian was too long for Twitter, so I had to go with Cybertron. If you want to check out some more of my pictures and chat with me just on Facebook, you can do so. Just look for Cybertronian Beast on Facebook. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will talk to you later.